Somebody please call a doctor because that pass is sick. Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Listen, Caitlin Clark is a passer unlike anything out there. I said it, unlike anything or anyone out there. Caitlin Clark passing the basketball. Oh my goodness. Now listen, you're hearing from someone who played the point guard position, who absolutely loved and loves to pass the basketball. I'm not very patient when people blow my assists either, because I just love being able to pass the ball. Boom, just pinpoint perfect. Not like Caitlin Clark did I ever do it, but I love a good pass. Even when I was coaching, I would coach bigs, and I thought, oh my goodness, if I had only had the opportunity to feed the ball to that player. Caitlin Clark's vision, her ability to see what happens before it happens, is absolutely ridiculous. Shall I say ridiculoso? And Sophie Cunningham right there, her ability to get up and get that pass and complete it, never putting the ball on the floor. So many people, they have to put the ball on the floor or they can't finish. Doesn't put the ball on the floor. Caitlin gets it over the top. And you can see the Dallas Wings, like, because they're just like, it's coming. Caitlin's pass is on its way. And then boom, 2 points. It's ridiculous. Let's take a look at this again. The Fever put out several posts and videos of the game against the Dallas Wings. I took this one from there. It is a compilation of some of Caitlin's passes, so the link will be in the description of this video. Make sure you check it out. Caitlin Clark had 14 points and 13 assists. 13 assists. Now, when we think about the fact that she really should have had more assists, there were some things that didn't get handled well, and so she didn't get those assists, albeit there was defense has to figure in there as well. But somebody had a video out that showed 7 other possible assists that didn't happen. Unbelievable. I mean, the vision, it's not something I believe you could even teach or you could even work on. Yes, you can teach passing. Yes, you can teach how to release the basketball, but that's a gift. That's beyond, I believe, the ability to teach how to do what she does with the basketball in terms of passing. 14 points, 13 assists, could have been 20 assists. Sick. And this was done in a victory against the Dallas Wings, 102 Indiana, 83 Dallas. Has the Fever turned the page in the season? You see what I did there? Turned the page. Paige Bueckers. Yeah. Anyway, this is a team, seriously, the Indiana Fever should beat. But there's no should in basketball. You don't win games based on records. You have to show up and you have to play. And we have seen this team play other teams that the team should win against, and some that were harder teams to face, and they still fell short. So take that win for sure. And again, you have to show up and play. And that's what this team did. They had energy. They were in each other's corner. You could see And there were obviously some things that need to be shored up, and that will always be the case. But like what I saw, now I came in late to the game, just a little bit late. I have church on Sundays, and this was an early game. I left church. I got the Smoothie King to get me a smoothie, and then I got home as soon as I could, jumped on the live stream. So many of you were right there. Actually, you made it in before I made it into the live stream. And we talked about a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to reiterate everything, but I do want to recap some things. But since we're talking about CC, I got to talk about cookies. And no, I'm not talking about the sneakers, because I don't know anything about these sneakers. They were talking about in the chat. I saw something, some article about it as well, about Caitlin's Kobe cookie sneakers or something like that, way over my head. When I say cookies, and those of you who are members of the channel, who've been in my basic basketball lessons, who maybe have never known this before, some of the newer people of basketball had never known that term before. Cookies! That's when you are picking pockets, okay? Picking pockets, stealing the ball. Caitlin Clark, 5 steals in this game. And we have been seeing, when she's had a chance to play, obviously she's been injured quite a bit, but we have seen better defense from Caitlin. Caitlin Clark can play defense, and she told us in the post game when she feels like it. So let's take a look at some of the comments from that post game, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Like, what do you mean when you feel like it? Let's go to the Indiana Fever's YouTube account.
Caitlin, we talked so much about your offense and playmaking, shot making, but defensively, tied your career with 5 steals tonight. Ooh. How do you think that first one, though, I think it might have been on Paige, but just come across court, you get it, and how do you think that set the tone for the rest of the defense throughout the game?
Yeah, well, I knew my team was ready a trap beat on the sideline, so kind of just made a read. I saw she was going to throw it to her post player and was able to get my hand on it, and then got a few deflections out of guard-to-guard switches. So I think just being active, like, I can be a really good defender when I choose to, and when I work really hard on it, and not conserve energy. So proud of myself in that regard. And, I think that probably motivates our offense. Like, when I bring a tenacity on the defensive end, I think it really helps our offense go. And yeah.
It's defense to offense with this team. As I've talked about many times, Aaliyah Boston's going to say a little bit more about that. But what Caitlin says, I can play defense when I want to. And even Aaliyah Boston had to smile about that, because when she says, when I'm not trying to conserve energy, that really is key. I've heard Cynthia Cooper, remember the Houston Comets, the first 4 championships of the WNBA. I was a huge Cynthia Cooper fan. I still call her the GOAT. But she had said something about, I wasn't really that great on defense. And a lot of times that's the case, because when you have a player like Caitlin, who typically, not when they're not coming back from injury, but who typically plays a whole lot of minutes and is expected to do a whole lot on the offensive end, sometimes you have to, if they have to be on the floor, they have to find spots to kind of catch a breath if they're going to be on the floor. And a lot of times, because they're so dependent on offensively, the place that they do that is on defense. And so she is saying, when I'm not trying to conserve, then, I can play good defense. And it was cookies. I mean, 5 steals in this game. It was great to see. Now let's hear Aaliyah Boston talking also about the power of defense in the kind of game that this team wants to play and is expected to play. And it's the game plan for them to play. Actually, I will pick up with Caitlin talking about defense a little bit more as a team and how that powers their offense, and then we'll roll right into Aaliyah Boston.
Our defense was good and got us a lot of buckets in transition.
Kind of Aaliyah, off that point, where have you seen, especially the second half of the last game, going into such a strong first half tonight, and then you're able to keep your foot on the gas? Where do you feel like the biggest change, or I guess change, has been to really be so dominant and consistent offensively as a group?
Honestly, I think it starts on the defensive end. We talk about that all the time, just making sure that we get stops because we like to play fast. We like to get the ball up and go in transition. And so we knew that we just had to make sure that we were focused on that end and make sure that we're connected on the defensive end. And then that sparks our offense and we're good to go.
And then we are good to go. Absolutely. It's something that I've been trying to point out. I have been pointing out repeatedly. For this team to run consistently, this team has to play good defense. When you play good defense, oh my goodness, you can get out, you can run. Pushing the ball in transition is going to make it so much easier for this team. But again, as Caitlin pointed out, as Leah's pointed out, as I pointed out, you have to play good defense. Caitlin said our defense was good. Aaliyah said it all starts with defense. And it was good to see them be able to push the pace because that's when this team is most dangerous. So you got to buckle down and do the defensive part so that you could also do what we want to see. And that is push that ball. This is a good time to jump in and remind you of what I said during a video Saturday night. And that is that today on the second channel, Adrienne Ross Squared, I did a video about integrity in general and integrity as it particularly relates to the Indiana Fever and some controversy out there surrounding the team. I said a lot of what I wanted to say during that video on this channel on Saturday, but I got a little bit deeper in today's video. So the link to the second channel will be in the description of this video. Check it out if you are so inclined. And so now let's get back to this video. Caitlin does a good job during this press conference of giving an overview of the game. So we're going to listen to a little bit more of what she has to say, and then we're going to look at something else.
Yeah, I mean, I still probably didn't shoot it as good as I would have liked. But I feel like it's coming. I'm just trying to continue to get my legs under me. And like I said, pregame, like I feel like I'm a couple shots away from like having a really good game. So, but I mean, I thought my playmaking was really good. There was, I mean, no reason for me to really shoot that much. I thought, like, you look at the box, like 12 shot attempts, 11, 9, 8, 7, 6, like just very balanced. And, you know, people executed. And when we have, you know, 5 people in double figures, like, I feel like we're going to be pretty hard to beat. Like, it would take a lot for a team to beat us.
Caitlin, just 13 assists for you and then 30 assists as an entire team. Just what was working so well with you seeing the floor and just the entire team?
Yeah, 30 assists on 40 made shots is about as good as it's going to get. That's really impressive. And I think it just shows the selflessness of this group is you're just trying to find your teammate, trying to get to the next action, trying to give up a good shot for a great shot. And just really proud of this group of how we share the ball, and makes us really hard to guard, like I've said. So that's something that Steph always preaches and something she always talks about is, you know, how many of our field goals are assisted. So we're always looking for high numbers there, and 30 on 40 made field goals is a really good number for us.
30 assists on 40 made field goals. Yes, Caitlin, you're right. That's pretty good. One of the things I respect about this young woman so much, and I say young woman on purpose because she's such a mature young woman when it comes to the game of basketball, apparently outside of basketball as well, but talking about basketball, the maturity level. And she's like, I really didn't need to take that many more shots because it was the team effort. You got 5 players in double digits and obviously not just hogging the basketball, because the assists overall really demonstrate that. And she does a good job of keeping the main thing, and that is playing as a team, getting better and getting wins. And like she said, if we're going to have 5 people in double digits, it's going to be difficult to beat us. So they understand that their record is not representative of their potential. And that's what you have to do. You have to keep everything in perspective. And as she has said herself recently, she has to give herself some grace because she's been out, she's been injured. And if you watch the pregame interview, she recognizes that all great players, she said that some of the greatest players in the world have tough situations. And she referred to Steph Curry in that pregame. I really enjoyed listening to the pregame. I got out of church I was headed home to watch the game, but I had an opportunity to turn on in the car that pregame. Glad to see the team clicking. This was a game that they should win. Again, we know how that goes. And so they will next face Connecticut. Remember what happened the last time they played Connecticut. Hopefully there will be none of that kind of drama, and hopefully the officials will be on top of it, because as was said, I think it was Debbie Antonelli who was on the call of that first game against Connecticut. It was that if the officials had done their job in the game, then it wouldn't have gotten out of hand. So hopefully this team continues to play good defense, puts the pedal to the metal, and does not look back, because that's what separates mediocre teams from teams contending. That is, you have to seize the moment, and when you get up, you cannot look back. One of the good things about this win is that this team was at a place where the officials at the end didn't have the wiggle room to decide the end of the game. You want to control what you have to control. So good win for the team. And let's just take a quick look at the box score. ESPN.com. And here you see Indiana 102, Dallas 83. Indiana scored one more point than Dallas in the first quarter. In the second quarter, Indiana scored 36, Dallas 15. Now, the third quarter, Dallas outscored Indiana by 1. And in the fourth quarter, Dallas outscored Indiana by 2. But in the fourth quarter, Indiana had the bench on the floor. And so it was, it got a little sloppy, and it was a point when I think it was like 2 minutes or so before they scored, but they were up by so much at that time. Also want to make sure, as I go through this box score, I'll just start with her, Sophie Cunningham, because after the Golden State Valkyries game, she said going into the Atlanta Dream game, we have to start knocking down shots, including myself. And I did a video about how she put her money where her mouth was, and she did just that. In this game, she did the same. 13 points in 22 minutes, 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. She had 1 of 2 free throws made. She had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a +7, 13 points. Way to go, Sophie. And I already showed you that catch on that pass from Cece. That was out of this world. I don't want to forget to mention Paige Bueckers. In 33 minutes, she scored 21 points. So she was the leading scorer of both teams. So kudos to Paige Bueckers. This was the first time in their professional careers that the two, Caitlin and Paige, matched up, because last time Caitlin was out injured. I didn't even get to watch that game. I was on vacation. So they met head to head. Caitlin got the victory on that. And Arike was just getting back from injury, I believe. She was 0 for 10. Oh my goodness. 0 for 10 with 2 points. I imagine that her fans will show her grace, knowing that she had been out injured. So Arike is a good player. She will bounce back. Although it'd be interesting to see what the future might look like with Paige and Arike on the same team. Okay, so let's just move on to the Fever. I really want to highlight the Fever. Natasha Howard with 18 points, 8 of 9 field goals. Go Tosh. Aaliyah Boston with 17 points, 7-11 from the field. She had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block with 17 points. Kelsey Mitchell led the Fever with 20 points on 8 for 12 shooting from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. She also had 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Go Kelsey. Lexi with 3 points in 18 minutes. She shot 100%. She only took 1 shot, and she made that shot. It was a 3. She had 2 rebounds, an assist, and 2 steals. Now, one of the things I say often about Lexi, and I said it again after this game, and that is that she does so many things that do not show up on the stat sheet in the box score. Man, I need Alexi on my team, because what she does out there is just phenomenal. So 3 points, if somebody just looked at a box score and didn't watch the game, they would say, they could have done without her. No, they couldn't. They need Lexi. And some nights it'll be 3 points, and some nights it'll be 13 or maybe 20. But Lexi is, in my opinion, all-star caliber for this team. Caitlin Clark, of course, 14 points, and she played 25 minutes. She's still in restricted minutes, and she had 13 assists. As I pointed out before, she had 3 rebounds, 5 steals, 1 block, and only 2 turnovers. A balanced game for Caitlin Clark. This team needs her, and she is just huge. Glad to see Sophie with her 13. I already said that. Michaela Timpson with 7 points. Michaela was on the line. She had an opportunity to be the one to get them to 100. She couldn't get that second free throw, but go Michaela, go KK. I believe she's going to have a good career as she continues to learn. 102 Indiana, 83 Dallas. So it's onward and upward. Tuesday night, Connecticut, and back to back. They have New York on Wednesday. So this team must build on this. 1 win, 2 wins. Do not a season make. You're going to have bumps and bruises along the way. It's getting better, being consistent, playing defense so that you can execute the game plan, which is to get out and run and share the basketball. Continue to make passes like Caitlin Clark makes. Handle those passes, do the little things, as I always told my players, and the big things will take care of themselves. I will catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundant.